What's the one thing every business in the world wants more of? You guessed it, customers, business. And the interesting thing is, the reasons we choose to buy from a particular business or a particular product are changing radically all over the world. In fact, one of the emerging trends is that all over the world there's an increasing number of consumers, close to 80% in many countries now, who say it's very important to them to buy from someone that they feel good about that is either socially responsible or sustainable. But here's the challenge. The vast majority of consumers say, I want to buy from someone who's good, but I'm very confused about whether the companies or products I buy are actually good or not. To me, tremendous opportunity. I'm Dr. John Izzo. I'm in the business of conversations that make the difference. And today, I would like to talk to you about what you can do as a company to really get ahead of that trend, not behind it. Now, the truth is, the research shows us that pretty much consumers don't believe the story that we tell them. Only about 16% of consumers believe the things that we say in advertising or on our packaging about how good or sustainable we are. I'm sorry to tell you, but those are the facts. Whether we do it well or do it poorly, only 16% really believe it. So I think one of the trends that's going to change consumer behavior all over the world is third-party certification. Because increasingly consumers are saying the only way I really know if something is good, sustainable, or even good for me is if someone independent has said so. You doubt that for a moment, think about the FSC, the Forest Stewardship Council, that has pretty much transformed the way wood is bought all over the developed world. By simply having an independent certification that basically says that this wood, this lumber that you're buying was done in a sustainable fashion, they literally have transformed the lumber business. But you might say, that's great, but how as a business do I engage with that? Well, let me make a suggestion. If there's no third-party certification right now in your industry or your business, why don't you become a leader in creating it? Let me give you a great example. Unilever, at one time, was the largest seller, if you will, and buyer of fish all over the world. They basically were the biggest producer of fish cakes and sold them all over the world. A number of years ago, Unilever was getting criticized, as were many of their competitors, for basically selling unsustainable fish. Now, Unilever could easily have stonewalled, like so many companies would, or simply put on the label, hey, we're great, believe us, only 16% would. Instead, they joined with the World Wildlife Fund and decided to create an independent certification for sustainable seafood, not just for Unilever, but for their competitors as well. They got ahead of the curve. Not only did Unilever get all kinds of credit for doing that, but they actually helped create a huge market for sustainable seafood. So today, all over the world, you go into that grocery store, you see that little blue seal, sustainable seafood. All happened because Unilever decided to work with the World Wildlife Fund and get ahead of the curve. So here's the challenge. Consumers say they want to buy from someone good who's sustainable. Only 16% believe the story that we tell, so the future is third-party certification. You'll either be behind the curve or ahead of it. And I don't know about you, I think every time you're ahead of the curve, it's to your advantage. Again, I'm Dr. John Izzo. I'm in the business of conversations that make the difference. We'd love to hear from you. What are other third-party certifications that are making a difference? What are some of your ideas on how we could use this trend to make a big difference in our business and even a big difference in the world?